me, keep a 20 on me, case emergency. Ain't no cap in my rap. Really, I know it's the trap. More profit mean extra. Emerald white off full of pressure. That cereal milk smoking right. But that Obama rant some special. Kansas City, I'm a chief. Shout out to K5 on this one. Country thinking I was hustling. I always had it on me. Booming like OJ the Juice. Till a nigga told on me. From now on, it's relentless. Ain't no love, we ain't friendly. If she want me on him. No the law, she get the business. No the law, still the motto. Empire.
Hello. Welcome in. This is Birds of a Feather Podcast with your boy Q City.
Boy Taj Bravado.
And this is our second podcast on the draft, really the configuration of it, about our Hawks. We're going to go through the later rounds 4 through 7, and really just delve deep into what we want to get and what we want to see out of this roster specifically, right? We'll talk about some prospects, but really just overall draft philosophy when it comes down to it. See how our team is running up their landway to see how we're going to build this team as we head under the new regime. So, Taj, man, the Falcons are. We talked about the fact that we have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
We discussed that on the last pod, kind of where our priorities should lie in the early rounds, right? Now, I'm always, it's one of the reasons I love working with you. I will defer to your excellence on the actual prospects because I know you go much, much deeper into the draft. For me personally, I love watching film. I love watching players. When you get to about 5th, 6th round picks, it's bad football. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not gonna say that.
It's hard to watch.
Sometimes
it's hard to watch. Like,
nah. It's just sometimes that because the thing is, I think when you get down to these rounds, is you kind of ain't no cap. When you get down to these rounds, it's sometimes you get to some of these players and you realize some of these players might have been told to do certain things that may not be what you are actually doing the pro game. So, like, when you're watching film based off of what your philosophies are already set on. You're not watching it with the, hey, maybe their coach told them they should not be doing this, even though from your trained eye, you want to be like, this is what they need. Why are they not doing this? I'm out. But what they might be doing is just doing exactly what their coach should do. So, and then sometimes,
and I get that. Sometimes people
and then sometimes you got people who are idiots throughout the, the month of the draft. Devondre Sweat, who do things that take the draft stock.
Yeah.
So, it's
He's
not
his
all,
biggest op.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the last pod. He is his biggest op. You know what I'm saying? He is his number one hater, bro.
Yeah. So it's I mean, yes,
but,
there is some bad ball
before the draft. Then
there is some bad ball. I give you that, but I mean, it's not all bad. It's a lot of times it's just situational. Sometimes you come into the right fit. Sometimes you get lucky, but when you get to this point, you're looking for special team guys with upside. Your first job is going to be special teams, and then upside is the other part. That's pretty much what you're looking for. And if you hit, you hit.
I think if you hit, you hit. And I think you're looking for traits. You're definitely looking for traits at this point in time. For me, one of the things that I love about this part of the draft, for me, is the financials, right? So, capitalism is built upon exploitation. That's the leftist in me. I'm not even really like that deep, but that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this is when you get the cheap labor that builds and rounds out your team. I think the NFL is built upon delusion. And I think that's why it is so popular with young men specifically, right? Is because the people drafted, I just laissez-fairely said it's bad football. The guy drafted in the 5th and 6th round is an all-world athlete. You know what I'm saying? He is like the top 1% of athletes.
Yeah.
But there's a delusion among young men that like we could play in the league. You know what I'm saying? That like,
Well, I mean, I could have.
I could be a late round draft pick.
I could have been, and that's not delusion.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's Taj.
No,
I fuss
no,
with
I'm
you.
I'm not being delusional at all. My reason I ain't here because
I remember you playing.
I was a starter. I ain't never seen no bench. I was I was a horrible ass. I was a lazy ass student. Two, I blew my fucking knee up. I had all this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But when you're in high school, they don't care if you good for real. I had times I was 6'2", 240. I was getting a D1. I was getting a scholarship if I was healthy. You know, my grades up to par.
Yeah, the grades fuck you, bro. Grades fuck you. But I mean, like I said, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing you as a D1 athlete. And that's no disrespect to you. I think you were good.
I'm 3 years older than you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing you.
I never played with you.
I didn't play with you. You played with DeAndre, didn't you? Swift?
No. Swift?
Who you played?
I was the year under Massacoy. Jonathan Massacoy?
That's right, I did.
Him.
I did.
Massacoy got drafted by the Falcons. Edmund Kuba got drafted by the Panthers. I played against them. I was a year under them. Well, I was no. Massacoy was my freshman year. He was the senior my freshman year.
Yeah, we played against Kimdichi.
Yeah, you was close to you was closer to when my brother was playing because my brother played against him.
Yeah, they put him at running back against us. That shit was disrespectful, to be honest. Like in the grand scheme, that shit was disrespectful. There was no reason to put him back there. We're getting sidetracked. So we go back in, right? We go back in. So we've got one pick in the fourth, one in the fifth, and then two in the sixth, no seven. I do think we'll probably manipulate the board a little bit. I don't think that we are in a position to condense picks. If anything, I think it's moving back and acquiring more assets, more swings in the day three of the draft. I think this is going to be...
Just in the 3 years Terry been doing this, he's not really done that. He's traded down once, but he's traded up more than he's traded down. So he usually gets rid. He has yet to draft in the 7th round yet. He has not drafted the 7th round pick yet. Or if he did, no. I think last year was the first time I think. Or did he?
No, he traded. He traded.
I think so. I don't think Terry has made a 7th round pick since he's been here.
But I feel like we're in a different position, right, as a team. So I feel like the moving up was to acquire talent onto the team to get your base of people. Now we're more so looking for depth. If you look at us on the offensive side of the ball, there's not a position between draft capital and free agency that we spent in the past 2-3 years that you feel like is a glaring red flag, right, on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, you're going to want blue chippers at either corner, defensive end, or on the line. I don't think that you're prioritizing linebacker in those first 3 rounds. That's not something that came up when we were talking about it last week. So I feel like you're only building for depth. And with that being the case, you want more bites at the apple. So I see him manipulating the draft board going down on day 3 because of that. Is that like you have your set base of the team. They're all under contract for a while.
The only way,
you know what I'm saying? So now you need to start building.
The only way I see them having more day 3 picks is if they trade now from 8 and get them that way. But I don't see them doing it any other way. Just based off just the way Terry has attacked the draft, because I can only go off of what he's showing us for the past 3 years. I can't go for any speculation because I can only go off what you show me. And what he's showing us is that last year he did actually make 2 7th round picks. Those are the only 2 7th round picks in 3 years, in 3 drafts that he's made. But he didn't have any picks in the 5th or 6th that year. Terry shows he gonna get the guys he wants. If it costs the 6th or 7th, take the little shit. I don't care. That's just kind of how he approaches it.
So then, with that being the case, with having two sixes, do you see movement? I don't see movement in the second round. We're already pretty high up.
We've
But could you
we've
see movement on that
we
Jacksonville pick
look.
to
We've
maybe?
moved every year he's been here. The second round pick has been moved. He ain't never stayed put.
We're already at 8 though in the
We've been
second
and
round.
guess
I
what?
don't see a
And
reason
guess what?
to
We've been
jump
at 8 the
up.
past 2 years too. He still that ain't stopped nothing.
We were. Because to get Bergeron, he moved up what,
Yeah,
four
they moved it for
spots?
Bergeron and they traded back in the Richie Grant jersey, but that was the first year, and then they traded up for I think Troy Anderson. Or no, they stayed put for Troy. No, they traded each year in the second, I believe.
Wasn't Troy a
No,
third
Troy
round
was the
pick?
second round pick. Because we had 2 second round picks. I think we
Okay, because I remember us moving up for
had
Bergeron.
was it two or because that was the Ebiketie draft. So I think it was Troy that we took. No, we traded up for Ebiketie. That's what it was. We traded for Ebiketie, and then we took Troy with the
Okay.
other second, and then we had 2 thirds, which were Ritter and D'Angelo Malone.
Which you put a lot of time, money, and effort into the linebacker position, which is why I think when we had our first conversation, that's not somewhere that we're really trying to prioritize early in the draft. You spent you've got those guys under contract. Granted, Troy's coming off an injury, but we've discussed multiple times he should be able to bounce back from that pretty easily. You might go linebacker later, maybe fifth, sixth round, just for depth purposes. Um, because you got 2 6 round picks, could you see packaging one of your maybe that Jaguars 3 and moving up in the third round? I don't see him moving up in the second unless there's a really good corner there that has fallen. Because I think in both of our mock drafts when we talked about it, we had solid corners early still available in the second round.
See, when it comes to movement and Terry, I'm not gonna rule anything out because I don't know. Historically, he hasn't moved in the third. He's most of his movement has been in the second round. But I mean, if he's seen someone, he could easily package up one of them thirds or like one a six or something and move back up into the second if he sees someone he likes, or maybe even package up something else, then take that second, move it up into the first. If he sees someone,
That's what I was thinking.
cause
So the extra 3 and the 2, I think would be enough to get you late back into the first round. The name that I keep hearing, not at 8, but really connected to the Falcons, is Nate Wiggins. Um, there's been a lot of motion on the fact that like they really like him. His play style is something that works with the Falcons. And yes, we're getting back in the rounds 1 to 3. I promise we're going to go to the later rounds. Um, but what do you think about that being linked to the team? I think he's a really good corner. I just didn't think that that's where they would be going. To me, that screams you'll have to give up capital to move back into the first round, and then that gives you a long time without drafting again.
does
Right? You
it
wouldn't draft again
the third
until
round?
what, pick
I
74?
mean, yeah, this is the round. I mean, hey, you'll be all right. Because the thing is like you gotta look at that as your second round pick. So like, if you can get 2 bites of that boy in the first round, and you got to go without it in the second, and you could get back to it in the third, is that really that big of a deal? Especially if you can get a guy that you that feel very comfortable with with that other first round pick.
I'm not super opposed to it, especially because like if you really do like a guy, getting him in the first round gives you that fifth year option, gives you a lot
It's
of
not even.
flexibility
I mean,
and whatnot. So
that's a
like
factor.
that to me is always
That's a
like a big
factor to
thing.
me. But
Yeah, that to me
it's
is
just to
always a
me, it's
big
just
thing.
like if you think that dude's gonna make a difference maker on your team, go get him. Like, yeah, if you gotta give up one of your third round picks to do it, go ahead. But like, I don't look at it as we gonna be going a long time because all we're doing is just exchanging that second for that first, and then we give you this third too. All right, cool, yeah, fuck it, I'll do that. It probably would.
which was
and it probably wouldn't even cost that third because
already part of the crap
like
already
really
trained.
you could probably give us some next year's shoes and they'd be like, we'll just do that then. You can get them like you can get them the second. We'd be like, all right, we'll give you a fifth this year and a four next year, or fifth this year and a sixth next year, something like that. And they'd be like, all right, yeah, we'll do that. Like there's more than one way to skin a cat.
It depends on the type of I was about to say it depends on the type of team you're trading with. So like for that type of haul, you're looking at pick like 29, 30, 31, 32. Who are you trading with in those situations? What, Kansas City? Who they just beat? The 49ers?
I mean, it
Kansas
depends on the
City's
team
going to
because
need to draft.
some of these teams are much more reasonable with their trades, and they be like they don't really take as much. Like some of it might just take. Some
Yeah,
of it you could
maybe.
just get them a second this year, and then next year third, and you can keep both your thirds this year. It's a lot of different ways you can go about.
The Ravens might be open. Yeah, the Ravens might be open in that situation. And what are they? 30?
I
They're
don't know.
30. They might be open in that situation to trade
I
now.
thought it was like 29. I mean,
It might be. It's them and the Lions is 29 and 30 because they were in the NFC
but
Championship.
I could
They
see
were
us
in
trading
championship
anywhere from
games.
probably like 27 and down. So, but but yeah. So back to these.
Because the Nate Wiggins talk is pretty high.
No,
So
okay.
just wanted to get your
This is my
feedback on
first
that.
time
But yeah,
hearing on
okay. So round
Wiggins.
four,
I've
pick
heard a lot of
108.
Mitchell. I haven't really heard much on Wiggins, but I'll look more into that. So this fourth round pick, I mean, it's a lot of different ways you could really go. If you want to fill out depth, I know the last one I had us taking that tackle from Yale in the third round, but you
Mm-hmm.
know
So just a quick recap. In the first round, we heavily discussed going on the line. We
Dallas
kind of
Turner,
agreed on
yeah,
that one. The second round, we hit the second round we hit
yeah,
the DBs, right? We decided to help the back half. You said Lad McConkey would be kind of like an outside chance there, and then the third round we started to hit on the depth, especially on the offensive line. I went safety in
I
in
went
that round,
receiver
but so
and
the
hold on,
consensus,
that's what I, no, I want no,
yeah. So
yeah,
the consensus is the consensus is D line within the first three rounds, D line, DB, backup tackle. So that's kind of like our framework in which we're pressing on further in the draft. So those were kind of the positions we hit early. So what are you looking at as we start to get into
but
deeper?
they three. I'm really just looking for just high upside guys that have good tools. Matter of fact, there's a safety. He went to Texas Tech. I think his name is Owens. His last name is Owens. Um, Owens. Let me see. I know we tight on time, but I gotta make sure I get the name right. Tyler Owens. Okay, so Tyler Owens. Let me pull the combine stats up. He didn't run the 40, but he was setting up to have a very crazy combine. Physical freak, has some good size. He is now reloading up. Come on. Okay, 6'2", 216. He had a 41-inch vertical, a 12.2 broad jump. So he's a very explosive athlete. Those that explosion leads you to think that explosion
Yeah,
leads you to think he's going
Jesus.
to run at least in the 4.4s, maybe even faster. So with that size and all that, I think that's you could use him on special
Mm-hmm.
teams, and you could also hope that physical upside manifest under under your coaching because you have a roster full of defensive back coaches, like it's littered with them. Your head coach, defensive head coach, the assistant head coach, defensive back coach, the defensive coordinator, defensive back coach. Like it's littered with people who are known to develop defensive backs. So I could see them taking a swing like that in the fourth or fifth round. The other safety I like is when from Miami, what's his name? Williams. Yeah, James Williams. He's another guy I like.
Yeah, James
He's
Williams.
bigger, but I don't like him. I don't like him in the fourth.
I don't like him in the fourth. I kind of like him in the
Yeah, yeah.
fifth, or I even
Yeah,
think
but
he could
I
get
like
him in the
his size.
sixth.
He gives me a lot of Cam Chancellor vibes.
Yeah, and hey, it's all about the you, baby. Um, but yeah, you've been on him for a minute. I think that his counterpart is a much more polished safety, but I think when you get later, you start picking on traits. Speaking of traits, um, I'm kind of leaning toward pedigree with this one. I think he'll be available in the fifth, but if you wanted to go ahead and get him in the fourth, Brendan Rice.
I don't think
I
he's gonna be a
really
fifth
like him.
round pick. I
I
think he's
really
gonna
like him.
be
Not just because he's
back
Jerry
in the day
Kidd.
2 or early day 3. I think he got a chance to be a third round pick. He's mocked consistently in third rounds.
Really, I think he can. The fifth might be a pipe dream, but I think if he's there in the fourth, because we're are pretty early in the fourth round, I would go for it. I think he has extremely high upside. He plays at a really good pace. You know what he reminds me of? He really reminds me of like a shooting guard in the sense that like you're not gonna speed him up. He's gonna get to where he wants to get to. Um, Consistent hands, right? He's not going to run super fast, but he's going to get open on any way on the field. The other name that I liked, and he might, I don't think he's going to be available, is the
I'm
D
about to say,
tackle out of LSU. I think he's going to be available day three, but
okay.
Jordan Jefferson. So yeah, I think he'll be available in the fourth, depending on how the draft falls out. But if you don't snag him in the fourth, you're not going to get him in the fifth or sixth. He's going to be gone by then. I wouldn't be surprised if he went late three. He's got your traits. He's got your tools. Big guy, good on the run. He's not going to give you much on the pass rush, right? Um, but with us starting to age out on the D line, I think it's important to kind of replenish that. And that's a rotational piece, right? That's depth. I do think we need to go linebacker later in the draft. And hold on. I had a name. It's coming. Stay with me. There you go. Tommy Eichenberg out of Ohio State. Not going to lie to you. He's not somebody that is going to deliver the boom, deliver the hits. To me, he's more of a coverage linebacker, right? That's what I've seen. Now, everything that I look at is like, oh, he's not a complete liability in the run. When you look at Ohio State, specifically against teams like Michigan and Penn State, they ran straight at him. So that is a little concerning. But sideline to sideline, he got it. He got it in every sense of the word, bro. So I think those are kind of my day threes that I'm looking at consistently to be difference
Okay,
makers.
I can see that. But there's obviously going to be the unpredictable guys because like Clark Phillips, he shouldn't have been there in the fourth round for us last year.
He shouldn't. And like you consistently
He's
said throughout the
taller.
year, if he was 3 inches
You said
taller,
taller, bro.
no
You
diddy,
have to diddy that one.
he would have easily gone in the second round.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I may have said I think I said bigger in my mind, which is why I was like, no diddy. Look, this is.
This guy.
I think I said taller, but I think I said bigger in my head. That's why I was like,
Okay,
wait a
I
minute.
think that's
Like,
first round. So like we don't got to tell that shit. So when we look at fifth and sixth, right? If we haven't taken a quarterback at this point, there is one particular quarterback I wouldn't mind in the 6th round, just from a tools aspect. Hey, you taking swings on the upside. So Joe Milton, he has great size. So we're like 90% of the quarterbacks in the draft. They're all old.
He's old, and he can't see the field.
That's why he's the fifth. That's why he's the fifth, 6th round pick. You're taking him for tools.
Yeah, but he can't see the field.
You're taking it for tools. I hope you can coach him up. No, it's not. No, we didn't. This is not the same comparison. Ritter was a third.
We just went through this with Ritter.
That's not the same.
We just went through this.
You expect contribution from a 3rd-round pick. At the 6th round, you're just hoping it works.
All right. I mean, yeah, you got a point. You got a point. I would take someone who actually has less tools but has shown a higher ability to read the field. I would take someone like Sam Hartman.
I mean, I get it, but
I'm just saying in general.
I
Like
get
Joe
what
Milton,
you're saying, but I'm talking about just purely from the tools
and
aspect.
I'm not like just
if
crapping
you
on
can
the
get
dude
him to the point to where
like, if it,
he's 6'5", 240, went to 4'5", with probably the
he got
strongest
an
arm that you might ever see. If you could just like if you could find a way to make it work with him, hey, because like him, that's just one of them. It's a low risk, high reward type thing because you're giving up a 6th-round pick. If it don't work, he was a 6th-round pick. It wasn't supposed to work. If it does work, well, shit, Terry look like a fucking genius.
Yeah.
Well, Rattler, I think Rattler's going much higher.
That's true. I take your boy from South Carolina before I take him.
No, Rattler is my guy.
I think he's going
Rattler's
3rd
my
round,
guy.
and that's what I'm saying. Like I take Rattler in the 3rd round before I.
But I'm talking about in the 6th round. But I'm talking about if you in the 6th round and you ain't got a quarterback and you just want someone like
I take him in the 3rd.
Like because I'm borrowing this from one of my favorite podcasts, Aaron Freeman. But if you just want to see someone just throw moon shots in the preseason, hey, it'd be fun. Cause look, we got these speedsters on offense now.
He got
let him throw a couple bombs in practice in preseason and see what happens.
I think that speaks to what is the philosophy overall with the quarter. What is the philosophy overall with the team? So based upon our free agent signings, obviously you got the big one in Kirk, but they've rounded out the receiving core. They basically changed the receiving room. We still have 2 running backs. Question, because this came up. Do you think they would look to get a more receiving scat back type to complement Bijan? No, I'm saying to make it kind of like a 2 receiver out the back.
Algier has he's a solid receiver.
Algier's a good power back. Algier's a good power back.
They probably just gonna,
but
yeah, either that or is that the free agency? But I like.
But do you think they're gonna go running?
It'll be addressed at some point on the last day of the draft, whether it be in the actual last day or shortly after the draft's over. But yeah, I mean they got what 2? Is it only 2 running backs on the roster, or is it a 3rd one? It might only be 2. I don't know who the other one is.
It's a 3rd.
No, you factored in Cordero.
When we did our salary cap thing, we had 3 running backs.
I knew his
No, 2 running backs and a fullback.
Yeah, they're
so we only got 2 right
either
now.
if they don't get it through the draft, they just probably just get someone cheap.
So they'll have to, like you said, they'll have to get somebody.
Oh, 3. There we go. Avery.
No, what about Avery? What about Avery?
Yep, that's right. We do have 3. So, but
Yeah, I
I
was
still
about to say.
respect
I remember we had 3.
just for Um, but I mean, there is one.
That's something that
I
came
kind of
up is
like.
that like they might late in the draft, and I think
Just
that
because he ran a fast 40.
people
This is
who
purely
are
like understand. This
who
is not for football purposes. This is for my selfish Madden purposes. He ran a 4.3. Just give him to me for Madden. I'm nice with him too.
you play with the Falcons on Madden.
Oh, I'm
Never
nice
though.
with him. Boy, look. I
Never
had that
though.
girl to look like Peyton Manning.
Never
Boy, I'm
though.
nice with him.
I love him to death, bro. But like, I either play with.
I do too.
I don't know. Now, to be honest with you, I play in franchise most of the time anyway, so I end up building my team.
Look,
But
I
like,
won
yeah,
back to back
nah,
Super
bro, I
Bowls in
can't.
a
I can't
32
play
man
with the.
man
Can't play with
league.
the Falcons. Can't do it.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't duck on smoke, and that go for anybody.
You don't want to
I
see
don't
me on
duck
the
no
sticks though.
smoke.
You've been ducking.
Hey, I do
Drop your
push
gamer
ups.
tag. Stop playing.
Drop it, give me
No,
50.
I'm playing. No. But in all truth, in all truth and honesty, I think that people will be surprised if we used a bit more draft capital on the running back position, but understand it's necessary, right? So if Avery's coming back, you really want him to be strictly punt return specialist. You know what I'm saying? You're not really going to run him between tackles or anything. So
I
you
mean,
don't want to be
I'm a
susceptible to
proponent of
Bijan
drafting the running
or
back every year.
Algier going down. So like, yeah, you're going to spend on a running back. 5th, 6th round pick. I mean, yeah, they churn out pretty quick. You know what I'm saying? And then some guys can't play. And I think that's like an understated point in those skill positions is that like some guys are fast and really strong and just can't play. So like they're only going to be on your team for 2 years, especially if they're drafted late. You know what I'm saying? Like quarterbacks, it's not fair, it's not right. Quarterbacks tend to get more chances. Guards way more than tackles, actually. Guards and
I
D
feel like
tackles
tackles get them
that are
because
drafted late tend to get a lot of chances
I feel
because
like
those
tackles
can
ought to
be
get more
seen
chances
as
because
effort positions.
they'll try you
And if
at
you're
guard,
big,
and
you
then
can just
you don't work at guard, then you just gone.
guard did. Yeah, true. But like guards, that's why I was thinking like guards get a lot of chances. D tackles get a lot of chances because like physically, there's not a lot of people who can be your size and do what you do. So like if you have the traits, they're like, bro, we got to try you every single place before we're like, okay, you can't play. Um, tweener DNs don't get a lot of chances. Like if you don't pop, like if Von Miller hadn't popped in the first 2 years, he
Well,
wasn't getting
I ain't
another
gonna say
chance
that because
anywhere
he
else.
had
He
that
just turned out to
he
be
had
one of
that
the greatest
first round
players ever.
pedigree, so he was gonna get
And you
another
see
shot.
it in somebody
Unless he
like,
just absolutely stunk it up.
oh, what was
But
his
first
name?
round pedigree usually gets you another contract. Even Vic Beasley got another shot.
But look at somebody like,
He got another shot.
yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Look at somebody like Vic. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? He had that one super year with Tennessee, and they was like, nah, he ain't
yeah.
it. he ain't it.
First, if you
He
turn
ain't
in the
it. So
first round, that
they'll
get
get
another
really.
shot.
So some guys just like some guys can't play at that level. Wide receivers, boy, wide receivers
Because they coming
is
out
turning
here.
into that position where
It's
they don't
like
have no patience.
receivers
for
are
the
the new
kid no
running
more, bro.
backs.
Like you look at somebody like Devon.
Like they hit the ground running. Like
Yeah, they expect you to come out the gate with 800 yards and 2 touchdowns. Otherwise, hey, 800 yards and like maybe 4 touchdowns. Otherwise, like, hey, he can't play. We're going to draft over him. Like, everybody's talking about Quentin Johnston, and they're like, yeah, the Chargers might take another receiver in the first round. and just go ahead and start moving
it's a cold world
out. And I'm like, damn, bro, like,
and I'm not going to
he had a
apologize
bad
for
first
it.
year. Granted, it was a legendarily bad first year, but hey, boy, hey, it's getting tough out there. Corner is another position where they will just throw you to the side. Like
they ain't.
I think Washington's already done it for him. So I'm like, dog, you just drafted him last year, bro.
They ain't gonna throw him away. It's just they had him. They took a skinny corner and wanted him to play press
hopefully
man.
They can play him a little better. He was getting thrown around. He was getting thrown around back there. But I think that goes to drafting within your philosophy, drafting the type of players that fit what you do. And Terry has done that to a high extent. Really excited for the draft. Come back with us next week. We're gonna is it another mock draft next week? I think that's our mock draft.
Chapo, looking like I hit the lotto. I want a hottie like mulatto. I'm on here and she on Moscato. I'm in them good till tomorrow. I'm a robber for the Neros. Your little loss, I'ma put you on payroll. You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party, yeah. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency. I wake up early every morning. Thank the Lord and get the bag. Hustle hard, get the cash. Stack first, then I'm showing my ass. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency.
My babies, that's who I grind for. That's who I do it for. Like the Navy, that's who I'm toting that iron for. Keep one in the head like a thought, nigga. Yeah, I fuck with Ty, he a boss, nigga. Foot on that neck, I exhaust, nigga. Niggas cross me, so I cross, nigga. No stripper was lit last night. 500, what it cost, nigga. Shit was really legit last night. Had them hoes at the house, nigga. Instagram, Snapchat, Triller. What they say about Jay, he a go-getter. Used to have them fat sacks in the grove, nigga. Late nights, early morning, my dough, nigga.
You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party, yeah. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20